Alright. Warm-up time. What to draw? I've been experimenting with a lot of different techniques lately. I'm actually quite enjoying certain moves, certain techniques that are quite interesting, and a lot of them are, like I said a couple of streams last week. Hey Bruno Romanos, how's it going? You won today's first message. Wicked. Hey Amir, how's it going? Close number 2, Amir. Like I'm saying, I'm enjoying some certain techniques in building the image based on like those selections and cutting shapes. I'm still experimenting, but it's by no means new techniques. But for me, it's more out of my behavior in process. So I'm still experimenting. I'm still testing where to apply them, how to use them. But I'm gonna try it today as well. Regardless of topic, I'm gonna try to find the use for those little moves. We'll see. Hey Gria, how's it going? Good morning. Hey Rollermaster. Goog. What's up? You're always number 1. True, Amir, true. The One. That's a great movie, by the way. The One, with Jet Li. Oh, I should watch it again. It's an old action movie, like early 2000s. Ish. But good. Hey, Captain Boss. Good morning. Zealin, what up? Amir, about the same. Drinking coffee, doing some work, warm-upping. Yeah, Amir is just The One. The Jet Li movie, The One. I think it's called The One. It's like multi-dimensionality, and every time you die in a dimension, the surviving versions get their power. And in the end, you'll be invincible. It's a pretty cool action movie. Like a bit. Yeah, it's a good one. I should actually watch it again. I like it. Hey, Pacobra, welcome back. Glad to see you back, man. Or lady, I don't know what you are. How about a topic suggestion? Give me some suggestion on what to draw. I'll do my best to draw it. I feel like yesterday's study was a fun study in terms of just allowing the brush marks to occur. You go by they, Pacobra? It? I'm just gonna refer you to they, I guess, if I can remember. Drawing a Rollomancer. Alright, topic suggestion number 1 is a Rollomancer. Corrupted Knight. The Wary Guru. Oh, that's pretty cool. Something new in the Doom Eternal style? Alright, Doom Eternal style, I guess, is another suggestion. Medieval Mech. Alright, cool, wicked. We got some wicked suggestions. So, let's recap. We got Rollomancer, Corrupted Knight, The Wary Guru, Doom Eternal, Medieval Mech, Iron Giant. Alright, cool. McDevil. How is that not a thing? I do agree, Zealin. How is McDevil not a thing? Right, let's roll the dice. I have actually designed an IP on medieval mechs for a team that never did it. Let's see. Number 5. Oh, number 5. Which is number 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Medieval mech it is. Medieval mech it is. Medieval mech. Is that how it's spelled? Medieval, I guess. Medieval. That doesn't look right. Medieval. It is correct. Alright. Okay. Medieval, that's the way medieval is spelled. Alright. Medieval mech. Obviously power source. Obviously mech. Crusader. Holy Grail? Holy Grail is a power source. It's what powers the mech. Okay. I got a picture in my head. Let's try our hand at... it's going to be a widescreen, so I'm going to have to... I'm only moderately attractive when I'm quiet and looking away. Right. So the idea I had, I'm going to be painting an extreme widescreen, as you can see. So the idea I had was battlefield. I'm going to try my hand at being a bit expressive based on yesterday's fun. I'm going to experiment with using some of the sketch techniques used last week. We'll see how it's going to end up being. But the overall idea of the picture, just so we are on the, so you can hold me accountable, is I'll do a quick doodle on top. Big mech, kind of like breaching, looks like it's kind of stepping up somehow like this. Like smoke, Holy Grail, power source, and then I guess like knights, like that. That's the plan. So now you can hold me accountable for any mess up I do. So I'm gonna sketch up like the mech standing, base it purely on silhouette, making that look good. I'm gonna spend, let's say, why isn't the time going? Why is it? Anyways. Well, I mean, Joey Tribbiani in the TV show is obviously not an intelligent man. So thanks for that, boss. Hey, Ricky, how's it going? All right, so I obviously want scale here, right? So thinking maybe a massive medieval sword. I'm gonna not have the legs showing. I'm gonna go against that decision. gonna kind of try to make it look like a knight's helmet. Still not. Some sort of hand, and then behind it it'll be kind of smoke pluming out of it, you know, like it's powered by dirty energy, even though it's going to be a Holy Grail in the center. But the Holy Grail, I think, is just going to, I'm not sure how to solve that yet, but we'll see. Yeah, you look extra bewildered. You just kind of float float away while they're talking. Like, turn around and just act confused. I'm sure that they'll stop talking. Emerson Tung Tsung, so however you pronounce it, his Arthur series is really cool. He made an animated movie. That's crazy. Much like I mean, it's on obviously better scale than on my hype trailer. My hype trailer was just thrown together and animated amazingly by Fight Milk. But yeah, that was really cool. Really impressed by it. Okay, so here's some Teutonic Knights. And some flags. I think the hard part is to kind of get everything beautiful together, right? Like the sense of cohesivity. I'm just making shit up now. Making up words up. Being cohesive. Cohesivity. Cohesiveness? What? Cohesion. Yeah, but I mean the act of being cohesive. Cohesivity. I don't know, man. Hey, what's that? Right, so now I'm gonna cheat a little bit. The good old rinse and repeat. And you're gonna hear my daughter in the background. She's talkative, which is good. Instead of screaming, which is not good. Okay, and then we do that again. We do that, and we scale, and we do this. And then we do that again. And skew, scale. Okay, that's good enough. You should be above. You should be below. All right. So what I'm going to try to do, in terms of trying to make sense of all this painterly stuff, is I'm gonna have to like paint on top. It's going to be very tricky to kind of keep it organized, but painterly. So I'm not really sure of how to solve that part just yet. But I'm going to try to kind of have a light source now, which is what I'm trying to dictate. And I'm also going to try to have the light groups defined before moving forward. So the light and shadow groups, right? So that we understand the relationship between the volumes. So that when we decide to add details, our brain already knows kind of where it all is leading. And the problem I can see is with the night in the foreground, because it's way too much. Hey, hi, Weekly, how's it going? What up? What up, yo? How's it going, I am Weekly? I hope everything is fine, man. All right. So where were I? Oh yeah, so I'm trying to define the groups at the moment, so that, man, the light in the face is not helping values. So that, like, the whole thing about defining beforehand and making it read well is that anything you add on top that is incorrect is going to stand out. So by doing the legwork and kind of defining what needs to be defined, so that there is cohesive light sourcing, cohesive forms, is that if you add something that's incorrect, it'll instantly break and you'll struggle. So in a way, it's good, because you'll see when you're messing up. Like I'm doing now currently, is I'm repainting a lot, which is not a good sign. But I am searching the right balance. And I think what I gotta do is put a gradient on him. Like that, but not that strong, so that there's a sense of depth. The problem, like I said before, which I'm gonna have to struggle with. That's the smoke, right? The problem I'm going to struggle with is making it gel. Making it come together. At the moment, it's all very messy, because I'm kind of setting the scene up, right? So I'm hoping that as I'm going to move forward in this painting, is that it'll kind of start to click. But at the moment, like I said, I'm struggling to place the information in a way where we see each segment of the painting the right way. And that's one of the things that I haven't figured out using this kind of block out technique in painting, is that kind of getting that freedom right. I was experimenting with environments, and what I did with this kind of selection technique was start very rough, start without any groups and without any planning, and just kind of painting away. And then as I found correct parts of the painting, I isolated them or made selections and things like that. And only then it started, the sketching technique started making sense in terms of controlling rather than sketching. That after I had established a sketch, then I could start isolating segments. But I still want to experiment with it, and I still want to see, what you can get out of using shapes like this. I'm still not happy with it all. Man. English. But we'll see. It's a fun sketching style. It's like composition first, right? More than anything else. So wait. So if the highlights on the mech is the highest, and then everything else kind of merges to the mid-range, probably the knights need to stand out a little bit more. Hey, Just Wayne, Sergey, Payan Tonto, what's up? How's it going? Welcome. Good morning, good evening. I know that for I am weekly, it's late night or early early morning, depending on how you see things, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Bob Shimisu, how's it going? Mel, what up? Welcome everyone and all new people, the names I don't recognize. This is a daily stream for only 30 minutes. We are approximately 15 minutes in today's randomly selected topic, which is medieval knight. So usually what happens is that I ask for a topic, I roll a dice, and then I'll go to town trying to visualize the random topic. So it's unplanned, you know, no rehearsal, no references, just straight sketching from imagination, which is fundamentally the basic idea of this stream, is to try to be creative and just have fun. When the sun shines down on you, but the mech is lit from below by the same sun. Yeah, he's eclipsing. One thing that the struggle is with the sketching technique is that it's hard to go in and redefine a lot. So always what I've noticed in the sketching style is when you're using a lot of layers and a lot of control, is that you tend to kind of be a bit unsure of what you're doing and how you have to deal with it. I'm annoyed by that aspect. So in a way now, like, all I would love to do is just like paint over everything. But that is just me falling back into old methods. I need to try to convince myself not to. Go back to bad habits in this particular style. I went with a dirtier brush. Oh yeah, that's remind me. I wanted to play with this brush. That brush, oh yeah. I used to use this a lot on warm-ups. It is a really weird brush, I'll show you. It's very unclean. Why? I don't understand why OBS does that. You know what I'll do? I'll do like this. Now you can always see it up there. That you're keeping mistakes in for too long and you're capitalizing on the mistakes. Yeah, I think that's the whole kind of idea behind making sure that the base is correct and taking your time to get the base correct, because if you don't, like the chances are, like you say, you're building an image based on flawed a flawed base. So it doesn't matter how pretty you make it, because it's broken. Now I think I'm actually gonna start painting on top of it all and start making selections, like if I need to. Like I was experimenting like this on environments yesterday, like making a foundation, making shapes, and not kind of like, you know, like the gesture, or like I started this painting where I put things out compositionally so I can get a grasp of where everything is located. And what I did with the environments then was just kept painting and made selections now and then to correct and to kind of build up volumes. It turned out a lot of cases somewhat streamlined. Like it wasn't too bad actually. I should move those up. So paint underneath the knights. And it created this nice range of forms. And I know that this is a technique a lot of speed painters use. Personally, I've never used it that much, but you can see it on a lot of, like especially Asian looser speed painters. They have regained this sketching technique, I think mostly because of what's his name? Feng Zhu. He teaches this a lot at his design school. Like selections is everything in his painting style, because naturally he's very, very messy. I'll show you quickly. I'll Google his art. So this is kind of his painting style. It's very, or maybe these are students, no idea, but it's all the same kind of style of messiness with selections and control, and he uses, in his painting process, he uses a lot of photos to kind of get information quickly into the mess, right? So he's much like the beginning of my sketch here. I kind of freely started sketching, but instead of me adding brush marks on top, he would use photos and overlay photos to see what noise he can get out, which now I am actually painting the noise in, right? So he'd lean on the randomness of photos to place them and rotate them and scale them and skew them and like shape search. Wrong window. Shape search and build the image that way. He keeps painting on top. Pacobra, yeah, his painting style is challenging, and it requires you to understand what he's actually talking about and what he's actually doing. If you're just looking, you don't really get what he's doing unless you understand, okay, he's building technique, he's building the image, he's shape searching, he's designing at this point, he's doing this and that, and that was a bad decision right there. And if you don't really know what he's doing, it's going to be hard to follow, right? But yeah, so the basic idea on this is that it allows you to sketch, it allows you to explore, and when you need it, you can make a selection and make a clean edge, and because it's in the end, what it comes down to is a balance between good edges in any painting and in any process. It comes down to readability, and one of those kind of key readability things is edge control. And this sketching technique, by using selections and being very painterly, allows you to play around with sharpness and play around with edge control in a different way, and structurally, when you build your image with basic compositional shapes, like this is the mech, these are the horizon line, over here is the, you build the image up in a way where you can absolutely understand what is happening, and you absolutely understand what is required in terms of lighting direction and general compositional techniques. But there's no, you go from the thinking, you're actually applying the thinking, like here's the characters, I want to start painting, and then you start painting, then you lay a foundation, and then you put color, and all these things, right? But in this sketch technique is you're actually manifesting the general thought process by defining from day one, okay, these are the shapes I'm going to use to push forward, and you move them around and you place them correctly so that the image itself makes sense, and then you start rendering, right? And you try to make it readable or attractive. So that's one of the things I struggle with in this sketching technique, is that the whole taking it from composition to mess to readability. That is the biggest current struggle I have in terms of making this sketch technique work well. As you can see, I've painted outside of the selections and I've painted in the selections, and so far I haven't found a great solution to this. What I've always found is that I always kind of tend to have to make sacrifices of sorts. But maybe that's okay. Maybe that's like a part of the style, part of the beast. I don't know. Hey, the Viciekla koala? Viciekla? Okay, yeah, absolutely. Sparth has a extremely defined process. He knows exactly what he needs to do because it is very close to his comfort zone, right? He's extremely used. Uh, he's very used to this painting style, and he's figured out how to do certain moves at what time to make his paintings clear. He has a very art director's kind of thinking in his images, much like this painting technique. You place the shapes, you make them work together, you build the image complexity up, and I find that that's very interesting, and it, like, again, like I declared at the earlier in this sketch, I declared my intent with the sketch, right? I said the mech is going to be here, soldiers are going to be there, and then I more or less just traced my mind, right? My intent, and that's really important to be able to do, and that's about. Currently, I'm exploring technique rather than skill set or knowledge in how these things work. So it becomes a different challenge. Currently, I'm actually making things harder for myself by challenging the way I usually paint to see, can I come up with a new result? While Sparth, in this instance, he wouldn't experiment, right? In these movies, there's 100% comfort zone. Hey Lux. Hey Navaparta. Cheers, man. Welcome. Glad that you made it. Lux, how to motivate yourself? Yes. What you got to do is set a schedule. Don't do anything else but what you're supposed to do. Do everything else that you want to do after the fact. Set the schedule for 4 hours. I'm going to prep myself, and then the first minute of those 4 hours start, it's all business. Then have a timer. When the 4 hours end, all right, Facebook, stretch, go do this, go do that, make a phone call, talk, whatever. And then, all right, I'm going to do another 2 hours, prepare everything, switch off Facebook, whatever. Make sure that you don't do anything else but those things you're supposed to do. And you have to practice that a little bit. But the more you do it, the clearer it is, and the less bullshit you're gonna do. Put on music that puts you in the zone, or less distractions. Put your phone on silent, and just kind of, when these 2 hours or 4 hours or whatever time frame you want that you think you can deal with starts, is zero other things you got to do. But afterwards, jump up and dance, or I don't care. But the idea is do everything that you have to do. Make sure you take a break afterwards, because if it becomes this sense of you have to sit and fill the hours, you're not going to be working. You're going to be working at half speed, just so you sit out the time, right? So the idea is starve yourself from other things so that you're doing what you need to do, and then saturate yourself with all the other things when you're not working, so that you don't feel the need while you're doing your job. And like I told my kid, he asked, like, how can you sit so long and paint? I said, well, I take breaks. I take small breaks. I look away, I think, or, and I think about what I'm doing and recharge, like a split-second recharge, so that when I do start again, I know more clearer what I need to do. Worse is when you're kind of waffling around, not knowing what you're supposed to do. And if you don't know what you're supposed to do, might as well take a break. Clear your mind. Because I did a personal project on my spare time at night, and a lot of times in the beginning I was kind of sitting there doing the hard work. Like, okay, I gotta sit till 2 every day, or 1 in the morning every day, otherwise this game will never be made. And I was like getting slower and slower and slower, and less motivated and less motivated and less motivated. So what I ended up having to do was, one evening I played games. One evening I just sat and watched movies. Then the following evening was like, all right, I'm gonna do these animations now. They're gonna have to be, this and that I'm gonna have to finish today. And I knew exactly what I needed to animate. What I realized that I did everything twice as fast, twice as accurate than I did when I was just sitting and clocking myself that I have to sit here till 2. Time is up. All right. This is how it ended up looking. Pretty fun. Somewhat what I had in mind, but in the end, there is no holy grail in the center. It is Teutonic Knight helmet. I think that kind of leans into it enough, but I don't know. It kind of turned out okay. This sketching technique is starting to come together a bit. But I think what I gotta do is just spend more time testing steps out. There was a point in here which I struggled, which I didn't enjoy. And it's all down to kind of readability and texture. So that's something I gotta figure out when and how I should add that. But overall, I think the sketch was pretty decent. Pacobra, better to have a goal than a time limit. Well, the time limit is just there for you to remind yourself that you work hard, and when it beeps, oh, I'm finished for an hour or 2. Now I can play games. Oh, I want to do that one last raid of Tarkov or whatever. And then it beeps. Oh, I gotta get to work, right? I'm gonna quickly check Facebook, answer an email. Okay, now I'm gonna sit there for 2 hours. And then you switch everything else off. You hardcore focus on painting this for 2 hours. 2 hours is not that long to sit and non-stop work. And then when those 2 hours beeps, okay, I'm gonna quickly run, make a lunch and look out the window for a while. And then you sit for 2 more hours. There's this kind of old mentality of clocking in at work hours, and then you have to be there for 8 hours, then you clock out. Like if it's kind of a physical job, right? But the fact that if you could take breaks in between that physical job, and you work for 2 hours, take an hour break, 2 hours, so an hour break. Yeah, the longer you're gonna be working in the duration of a day longer, because you're taking longer breaks, but the fact what you're doing at the work is going to be more efficient and more precise. So in theory, like if you do like 8 hours of work, but you can set your own times, what usually happens is that you're going to be more focused, and you're going to be able to do more in a less time, because you can You can snipe it. Rollomancers. Let's see Rollomancers medieval mech. Oh, pretty cool, man. I love the castle tower hint. Really fun. Cool sketch, Rollomancer. All right, that's it. Let's find someone to raid. Okay. Let's hope she's not offline at the time we raid her. She's a fantastic traditional artist. She usually does these elaborate pencil drawings. So we'll see. Hopefully she's there. Have a good one, everyone. Good night if you're that part of the world. Have a fantastic day. And see you tomorrow morning for another topic that you suggest. Outro, then raid, so stay tuned. Bye.